Well, the federal government continues to deal with the aftermath of the largest hack of its personnel files in history.
There's questions now if FBI agents or CIA agents had their information compromised as well. Adam Schrager is here with our weekly call for action consumer segment. That doesn't sound
good. Good afternoon. There are a lot of people impacted by this. We're talking as many as 18 million people estimated have had their information compromised, current and former federal workers. We're talking social security numbers, birth dates, addresses, full names, everything important to your identity. I've heard from a few people over the last couple of days that they have been notified by the Office of Personnel Management about identity theft protection being offered. Eric in particular wanted to know if the mail that he'd received from a company called CSID Protector Plus was a scam intended to prey on victims like him. It's not. CSID Protector Plus was hired by the government to provide this credit monitoring. Everyone impacts automatically guaranteed up to $1 million in identity theft insurance if they've been victimized along those lines. Again, this is not a scam. CSID Protector Plus is legitimate. All right, here are a few scams out there in our Neighbors Helping Neighbors segment today. James Perez called from Janesville to let folks know about an entity called American Cash and Rewards that called him telling him they'd gotten his number from his energy company and that he'd won something. Well, that's a scam. The energy company doesn't give out numbers. Susan Greville called from Madison because she'd gotten a call from the American Home Shopping Network that she'd won a prize to be delivered to her door. All she had to do was show her driver's license and social security card to prove her identity. That's bogus for sure. And Nancy Barker received a handwritten note on legal paper offering to buy her home with no closing costs or realtor involved. I hadn't heard about this one before, but it doesn't sound legit. She ended up shredding it. Finally, the bane of my consumer reporter existence continues to rear its ugly head. I'm talking about the IRS scam out there. Chris in Madison, Shar in Middleton, Carol in Sun Prairie were all called and threatened with a lawsuit. William in Janesville asked the person who called him, "What does the IRS stand for?" And then the caller swore at him. So here we go again. The IRS does not cold call taxpayers threatening legal action. It'll send certified mail instead.
They didn't know what the IRS stood
That's
for.
good thinking. Put it back on them.
All right, in a few weeks, we're going to be doing a week's worth of call for action success stories. We have a couple to share for us today.
Yeah, and they're easy to do. And we often, I mean, these volunteers have helped hundreds or are helping nearly 400 consumers since the start of 2015. And I like to showcase the huge dollar amounts that they help people with, but sometimes it's even the smaller fights, if you will, that can cause consumers just as much frustration. For example, our volunteer Pat was able to help Shelley and Randy in Fort Atkinson get $95 off their subscription to the State Journal. Our volunteer Nancy helped John and Milton get a $242 medical bill removed. It was billed under the wrong code. It took a few months to get it done, but now that money is saved. And sometimes the volunteers like Rita help and it has nothing to do with money. She spoke with Jeannie and Monona and helped her convince her 87-year-old father that a Publishers Clearinghouse check that he received in the mail was not legitimate.
Oh, that's hard.
They help a lot of people.
They're doing great work.
Yeah.
Boy, time flies. 365 days ago,
yes,
the Spam Report started as a blog on Channel 3000.
Still there. Still there.
And now it's evolved into the weekly spam segment that we love so much.
So we realize that these may be kind of silly to folks, but the whole idea behind this is to try and keep people safe out there. And there are people who fall for these. And I've always figured, you know, if you can smile while you're learning, all the better. So here goes with this week's, the 365th anniversary Spam Report sent in by Pamela. It's from Rita Hopkins, and the subject line is, "Thank God I found you, you are blessed." It starts, "Dear friend, I hope this mail meets you in a perfect condition. I am using this opportunity to thank you for your great effort to our unfinished transaction for attempting to help me transfer 9 million United States dollars to your foreign account. I'm sorry for presenting and using someone else in your name to get this transaction successful. Due to your efforts, sincerity, courage, and trustworthiness, I want to show my gratitude to you with the sum of 1,800,000 United States of America dollars." That's not a typo there. And then it asks for personal information like a bank account to give Pamela the money. If we have learned nothing else from the Spam Report over the last year, let it be this: we never, ever give personal information to anyone unless we absolutely know who we are talking to. Oh, and we also know when we get these kinds of emails, we should just hit delete. If you have a consumer problem that you need help solving, you can call for action any Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. From 11 to 1, the volunteers will answer your calls on the hotline, 608-270-2833, or you can call for action anytime at our website, channel3000.com/call for action.
You know, you could make a mint correcting those emails for English and
Just
grammar.
typos. Just fix the typos, spammers out there. Come on.
And then hit delete.
Yes.
All right. Thanks, Adam.
Thanks a lot,
you.
Adam.